Hi, welcome back to Parents Perspective. I'm Amy Bishop, and with me is Mike Thomas. This is brought to you by Speak, our youth coalition. What we've been talking about is unpredictability and how to deal with that as parents and how to support our kids through uncertain times. So we have talked about, I'll just go over some of the bullet points kind of to tie it all together, and that is creating a safe place for our kids. And that includes doing things like using organizational tools so that we follow through on routines and we don't take our kids off guard on everything. There's something to expect. And then we also talked about modeling positive, good behavior. And Mike's going to go into a little bit more detail on that this time. And then using our time wisely and prioritizing things and carving out time management basic skills. And you can watch all of these on our earlier segments. And then we talked about sometimes just needing to laugh it out, just to take time to have fun, because laughter is good medicine. I truly believe that. And it helps stress reduction. And then we also talked about knowing when and where to look for help, just in maybe another parent to talk to or asking grandparents, aunts and uncles for help and to maybe just check in on our kids to also model good behavior and have good, influence in our children's lives. And then the last thing I'll talk about after Mike goes into some modeling topics is how to discern when to, penalize or when to just support our kids and be on their side and just kind of support them through this hard time during some of their mistakes. So, Mike, why don't you give us some tips on modeling?
Sure. Important thing to consider with all this is that your children, from the time they're little, really up into their teen years, have you as their primary form of what's appropriate and what's not. So the more that we model appropriate behaviors and appropriate responses to situations, the more likely they're going to follow suit as well too. A couple things we can do when we realize that we're stressed out ourselves. It's important to take our own timeouts, to take our own breathers, maybe go for a walk, maybe do an activity that we enjoy, express with others and express, to our loved ones when we're stressed out, when we're angry, when we're frustrated, in a healthy way, so that way they realize that they can appropriately express themselves when they're feeling the same frustrations. I think it's important too that we model in general respect to other people. There's a lot of people right now that are very nervous about COVID and want to wear masks, and there's a lot of others that feel, they're blessed. I'm never going to have to ever wear a mask. I'm fine. I think it's important to realize that when people are in different modes, that's okay for us to, even whether or not we like wearing the mask, we should anyway, to model that, so that way for the people that feel they need it and for those that don't, that we are showing our children that is just general respect. Nothing wrong with, maybe you are healthy, maybe you're not going to come in contact with it, but we're sharing with others that for them that need that it's okay to do that, that in a situation like that, we can be all things to all people when we need to be. And so I actually model that myself, is I'll go into public and do that. I know I'm fine, but I know that other people need that security. So we can teach respect and we can model respect to our children in hopes that they'll follow that as well too. And when we are frustrated, when we are nervous, that as much as possible, we try to be the calm for them. Our children look to us for safety and security. So we have to, by doing these proper preparations, by being ready, by using these skills we just talked about, model for them appropriate behavior, so that way they know that they're safe, and that when they see us being okay, that they're okay as well too. These are trying times for a lot of people. Children are very vulnerable with that. So if we're at our best, they can be at their best and model that. And Amy, you said you're going to talk a little bit about discernment. So what are some ways that we can differentiate between what is actually nervousness and fear and what's just being snotty or just being inappropriate at certain times?
Well, that's one of those parenting skills where we have to rely on parents know their kids best, I guess you could say. And I just think that there may be some needed leniency, if you will, right now during these trying times. I think kids are more prone. I know my child has been more prone to emotional outbursts that, maybe I wouldn't have tolerated at all before. But now I may want to rethink that and understand that it's coming from a very frustrated place. And so when I say discern whether your child is just on purpose being, bratty or unruly or disobedient, versus where maybe it's just coming from a lot of feelings being pent up that need to come out somehow. And sometimes they come out in poor, unregulated behaviors. So I'm thinking right now is a time to show some leniency and then really start talking to our kids about their feelings and encouraging that. And maybe we have to take the first step and say, either use yourself, or maybe that doesn't always work. Maybe use, what, I work with some other parents and they're talking about their kids feeling this way, because I think that once children hear that other children are having a tough time, that makes them not seem odd or disappointed in themselves as much. So acknowledging feelings by maybe even saying to your child, you know what, I really see you struggling. It really must be hard to, and then fill in the blank, to adjust to this virtual platform. I know that you like to attend school in person and see your friends, for example. Or maybe you're nervous to go back to school now that you've kind of had this autonomy at home and you've kind of been able to be in charge of your own maybe time frames and getting your stuff done independently. So kids can be either way, and you just have to know your kid to know that. So, and then problem solving, maybe some of that together. I think kids need to remember that we're not against them, we're for them. So being on the same side to say, how can we do this together? How can I support you through this difficult time so they don't feel alone? Many times kids will put parents on the opposite side, where we're kind of made out as the big heavy, or, mom's nagging again to do this or that. But if we get on their side and remind them, hey, I'm rooting you on. I'm your biggest fan. I want you to succeed. And I'll do anything I can to help you do that. And if that's reaching out for even a tutor or whatever we can do, or a grandparent to talk to, so that you're not home alone so long without anybody to kind of just, hey, I'm feeling lonely, somebody to reach out to. And then work on things together. I think that's the main thing, is just, we've talked also about setting goals in some of our time management conversations earlier, that working on goals together is really important, and that we're a family, and we are for each other, we support each other, and we're going to come out on the other side better people. We're going to stay strong, and no matter what life throws at us, we can tackle this. So having that positive attitude and modeling that positive attitude.
Folks, that's about all the time we've got for today. So since a lot of us, a lot of folks might be seeing this on Facebook, we want to point out we're available on YouTube as well too. And so if you go to the St. Clair County Health Department /Michigan, you go on and you can actually subscribe to our page. You can click on the little bell and you can actually get these at a regular time. Since we're talking about predictability, we're every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So you can tune in, listen to what we have to say on Facebook, but you also have these available through YouTube as well too, in case you missed it. And as for next week, well, we're going to come up with an unpredictable topic, but that's okay. We just gave you the tools to work with that. So we hope you use them. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day. See you next Wednesday, 6 o'clock.